As we look to the future, one of the things that we've been talking about for years is this robo-taxi opportunity. So if you think of this capital raise, really, it's just another way for Tesla to build more cars, get more cars on the road that can act as these data centers. They can help train autopilot and accelerate potentially that timeline to launching a robotaxi network, which we think could be extremely profitable. I'd say broadly, when we look at Tesla, it's really an innovation story. So ARK invests in disruptive innovation broadly, and this is why Tesla is one of our top holdings. So I do think it is important to keep your eye on the long term versus potentially these quarter-to-quarter numbers.
Hey, I'm Steven, and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be reacting to some clips of ARK Invest Tasha Keeney discussing Tesla's $5 billion stock offering. So let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you live in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 4 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 2 free stocks between $2.50 and $250 each just for opening an account. And if you deposit $100, you'll get a further 2 free stocks valued between $8 and $1,600 each. That is an obnoxiously good return on your investment. I mean, really, deposit $100 and you'll end up with, at minimum, $21 worth of stocks, a 21% ROI on your money. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Let's turn our attention back to Tesla right now. The shares coming off of its session lows, but it is still down about 1.9%. The company announcing plans to raise $5 billion in a share offering for the second time in 3 months. In an SEC filing, the company said the additional shares will be sold from time to time at the market price. Let's bring in Tasha Keeney. She's an analyst at ARK Invest. And Tasha, it's always good to talk to you. It seems like investors, it's down about 2% right now. So not exactly happy about the news here, but how should we be looking at this announcement from Tesla? Is this just about the company trying to take advantage of where the shares have been trading at? It's seen a huge run up in valuations, or should people be concerned that the company is looking to raise capital yet again?
Well, as we've talked about many times before, ARK Invest, Tesla's been a top position for us for some time. And as we look to the future, one of the things that we've been talking about for years is this robo-taxi opportunity. So if you think of this capital raise, really, it's just another way for Tesla to build more cars, get more cars on the road that can act as these data centers. They can help train autopilot and accelerate potentially that timeline to launching a robotaxi network, which we think could be extremely profitable. So as investors, we're happy to see Tesla investing in the business, and we just want them to have as many cars on the road as they possibly can get.
I love how clearly Tasha has distilled the one thing that matters for Tesla at this point in time. More vehicles on roads collecting data for the full self-driving software. That is literally by far and away their number one priority. Everything else at this point in time is just noise.
Yeah, and Tasha, I mean, it's crazy to think how far it's come, right? Since they were strapped for cash, last year, $2.2 billion in cash on hand. Back then, we were talking about troubles at Tesla and what they were going to need to do to raise cash. And now we're talking about the third capital move here this year. Talk to me about what that means for some of those more ambitious things you're talking about, whether it is self-driving or other plans that Elon Musk has here, since, for one thing, when he was strapped for cash, he beat more traditional metrics that would just be rolling out more cars. But now it seems like everything's on the table when he's flush with it.
Yeah, well, as we talk about profitability, certainly something like a human-driven ride-hail network, which I actually just wrote about in an article that we just published to our site, and eventually a robo-taxi network, could be extremely profitable business lines. And this will be a recurring revenue stream. It's a total transformation of what Tesla's business model is today, which is mainly, one-off vehicle sales. They have some software sales, but this is an opportunity for that to become a much larger percentage of the business. So we think, that autonomous future could really help with profitability. And even sooner, they could potentially launch a ride-hail network with human drivers in preparation for that robo-taxi service. Without necessarily clearing that technological hurdle of solving for fully autonomous driving, which we know is quite difficult. So we think that in the near future, if they wanted to do this, they could.
ARK Invest have been discussing the idea of Tesla launching a ride-hailing network with human drivers before their fully autonomous network now for some time. Definitely a way for Tesla to bring in additional revenue, iron out a few kinks, and also really get familiar and build the foundation for their Robotaxi network in the future. The question is, do you guys think Tesla will intentionally launch their network with human drivers before they launch their autonomous network? Let me know in the comments below. I'm still not 100% certain. I know in theory it makes sense, but given the pace of progress with Tesla's full self-driving software, the question becomes, is it even worthwhile? If Tesla believes within 12 months, for example, that they're going to solve autonomy, should they even bother launching the ride-hailing network with human drivers, or just kick off the autonomous network when full self-driving is solved and blow everyone away?
And Tasha, you've had one of the more aggressive price targets on the stock. I think the last time you spoke, you said long-term by 2024, you expected Tesla to be valued at $7,000 a share.
Yahoo Finance really living up to their namesake here. Now, I don't want to be too much of a douche here, but I've seen this repeated and repeated, okay? ARK Invest $7,000 price target was before Tesla stock split. This isn't news to anybody, so people continually quoting ARK's $7,000 price target at this point in time are ill-informed. And when you're on a mainstream finance network like Yahoo Finance and you throw terms around like the $7,000 price target and fail to mention that was before the stock split, you are irresponsible, and that's not cool.
How has that base case changed at all over the last few months, or you think that thesis is still intact?
Yeah, so I'd say our long-term thesis is still intact, and for that 7,000. So that was before the split. So if you divide by 5, that's about $1,400 per share. Of course, we're looking to update that number for 2025. You should look out for that work from us, say over the next few months.
I can't wait to read ARK Invest's new research and new Tesla stock price target when it's published soon. And of course, I'll run you through their research when it's available. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think ARK Invest's new base case price target for Tesla stock would be, considering that now the split adjusted $7,000 price target is at $1,400 per share for Tesla stock? My guess, it's probably going to be somewhere on the order of $2,000 to $2,500 per share, primarily because Tesla has managed to maintain rather than lose market share, which ARK was initially expecting.
But what I will say is, in terms of how our thinking has changed, again, it is really thinking more about this ride-hail opportunity and what it could look like if they were to launch that network sooner with human drivers behind the wheel. So I think, Tesla recently launched a beta version of their full self-driving software. They're sort of making the steps to get there. We're really excited about that autonomous future. And this year, Waymo has proved that it's possible by truly commercializing their autonomous taxi service in Arizona. So, this is, I think, a big opportunity when we think of what's not necessarily in the stock today. I do think that this is not necessarily included in a lot of analyst estimates for the future.
Tasha is spot on here. The majority of analysts at the moment are completely disregarding the potential for Tesla's autonomous robotaxi network in the future. At this stage, the best case, typically an analyst on average, they're thinking, okay, Tesla's probably going to make a shitload of EVs in the future, and they're probably going to be fairly profitable, and maybe there'll be some batteries, and maybe they'll supply battery cells to other automakers in the future. That's about as far as most analysts are going with Tesla stock. And yet, in my opinion, the most significant component of Tesla's business in the future, in terms of both revenue and profitability, is going to come from their robotaxi fleet. The fact that most analysts today are still completely disregarding this future money printer smells like opportunity to me.
Yeah, looking more short term, I wonder if there's any risks. I mean, you'll hear it from the shrinking pool of Tesla bears out there that might point to, the risks of taking your eyes off the short term prize here. We've seen Elon Musk try and stress to his employees that it's still going to be important to focus in on profitability and make sure that you're not wasting money here. But with more of it there and still building out, those two plants that we're watching play out in Texas and around in China as well. Talk to me about some of those risks if they do kind of run ahead of costs on those projects, or what you're trying to watch there in terms of grading how those build-outs are going.
Well, I'd say broadly, when we look at Tesla, it's really an innovation story. So ARK invests in disruptive innovation broadly, and this is why Tesla's one of our top holdings. So I do think it is important to keep your eye on the long term versus potentially these quarter-to-quarter numbers.
Once again, ARK Invest needing to provide a gentle nudge to somebody in the mainstream finance media to just remind them that they invest in disruptive innovation, and of course, when doing so, it's important to pay attention to the long-term picture rather than what's happening tomorrow or next quarter. I swear, every second interview that Tasha Keeney or Kathy Wood from ARK Invest appear in, they have this same discussion. Somebody asking a very short-term question. What are the short-term risks? What should investors be worried about next quarter, next year, etc.? And they're always trying to push the conversation back towards a much longer-term view. That's how you identify opportunities. This is why ARK are absolutely slaying it. Now, in Zach's defense and everyone else in Yahoo Finance and in fact the wider mainstream finance media, they are somewhat catering to their audience. There are a lot of people who tune into the mainstream finance media who believe themselves to be investors but are actually fools because they think they're an investor and they're actually in the casino, gambling, short-term trading, etc. And by the way, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it's just very important to make the distinction between an investor, somebody who thinks they're an investor but actually is in the casino, and somebody who knows they're a gambler in the casino. These are the three classes of investor. Actually an investor, deluded, accepts they're not an investor.
That said, Tesla does have very ambitious plans in terms of scale. We've also seen them accomplish incredible things. Look at what they've done in China. It's the first wholly owned manufacturing facility there, up and running in record time. And now actually they have, they have the highest market share in electric vehicles in that market. So I think, in looking towards that expansion, I think we can only trust sort of what we've seen Tesla done so far, which has been quite impressive.
That is the understatement of this century. Yeah, Tesla certainly have been quite impressive.
Tasha Keeney joining us from ARK Invest. Always good to talk to you and break down the numbers from Tesla. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you guys have found this video insightful. It's always fun to watch the folks from ARK Invest appearing in the mainstream finance media. There's always this push-pull between short-term and long-term thinking. ARK always trying to correct course and say, hey guys, look at the long-term, look at the foundation that Tesla's laying for the Robotaxi network, future revenue potential, etc. And I cannot wait to see ARK Invest's updated research and the new Tesla stock price target. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you live in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 4 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 2 free stocks between $2.50 and $250 each just for opening an account. And if you deposit $100, you'll get a further 2 free stocks valued between $8 and $1,600 each. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.